Hey there YouTube, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you're all doing well out there. We have had a dreary week here. Got lucky, it turned out we didn't get a whole lot of rain like we were predicted and didn't get the storms. Let me mention that too, and I really appreciate the concern, but this is that time of year. People start reaching out to me every time they hear something in the news. When you hear about severe weather in Alabama, it's possible here, but 99.9% of the time, that stuff is up north. And even though Alabama's not a huge state, it's still big enough to where there's a lot of difference between the north and the south part of it. So you're probably going to see storm warnings, something hit almost every week throughout the spring, but I'm probably pretty safe down here. But anyhow, today I want to talk about a raw food diet, exercise, and weight loss. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'd appreciate if you go down and hit that subscribe button now. Then be sure you click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. Yeah, I'm feeling cooped up. I want to get out of the house, and it keeps showing that the rain is gone or it's leaving, and every time I go outside, it boom. Anyhow, I get asked all the time about in regards to weight loss, or just in regards to do I need to exercise if I'm eating a raw food diet, and I'll deal with a couple of different things here today because number one, sometimes people will ask, do I need to exercise? If I just take that straight statement, do I need to exercise on a raw food diet? My opinion is everybody should exercise. If you don't like the word exercise, everybody should be active somehow with their body. Everybody should move their body somehow. You know, we've got this thing today, people don't like certain words. Well, I don't like the word exercise. It's a word. Get over it. Use it. Use the concept however you want. But yes, we need to move our bodies. But when it comes and when people, and a lot of times it's not even just people asking me, I see this all the time, somebody losing weight that's doing a raw food diet and they're diligently telling you the calories they're burning and how much time they're putting in on their cardio and this and that, and I'm like, I kind of had to do that kind of stuff back in the old days when I ate on a standard American diet. But I would say for weight loss, I don't think exercise is necessary whatsoever for weight loss. You know, the diet itself, you guys hear me talk all the time about how I'm trying to keep on weight on a raw food diet. So your raw food may vary, but if you're eating, and I'm not saying you got to be 100% fanatic, 100% raw, doing everything perfect, but if you are eating a high raw food diet, if you're keeping your fat relatively low, if you're not eating processed foods, if you're actually eating plant-based foods, I mean, you know, I just found the weight to just to fall off of me. Like I say, I'm always going back. There's something in there. There's something, and it could be subconsciously. I don't think people are necessarily lying to you when they say, oh, I'm eating this, or I'm doing this a certain way, but I can't lose weight. I always think there's something hidden in there, and probably just stuff that the people are not aware of. But yeah, I think exercise, my view on exercise is yes, though. I don't want that to, you know, and sometimes that makes it a little bit more difficult for me to motivate myself to exercise, because in the past, I'm not going to lie, to some extent my exercise was always about keeping my weight down. So, you know, coming up on 9 years ago when I started eating a raw food diet, when all of a sudden I didn't have to do anything, you know, I could literally sit on the couch, be a couch potato all day and not have to worry about my weight. Now, I'd have other issues. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to say over and over in this video, I'm not trying to say we don't need to exercise. I'm not saying exercise is important. I'm just talking about it from that weight loss standpoint. And, you know, like I say, over and over, I'm just a different kind of a person. I do this stuff for a reason. Like I say, I'm not overly fanatic about it, but I do it. I'm pretty serious about this because I treated my body very badly for a number of years. Got into this in the first place because I drank for so long and eaten so much. I was worried about liver, and I was really worrying about my body just falling apart. So that is always going to be my number one focus on this. So sometimes I can't even process some of the things people ask me, and that's not me judging. It's just from my experience. I've been pretty much by myself. I've eaten 99% of my meals by myself. I've been very much a loner the whole time I've been doing this this lifestyle. So your mileage may vary. I don't expect everybody just to kind of adapt and do exactly what I do. But the reason, like I say, all of this stuff just works for me is because, and another reason too is I treated myself bad for so many years and I don't have health insurance. So my mind works a little differently when it comes to food, diet, exercise, health, all that kind of stuff. I don't sit around and go, ooh, let me see if I can stop myself from eating that chip, or ooh, I really want that cheese. I know that is not. It's like if I had a piece of food there that somebody had told me was poisoned. I don't care how good that piece of food looks. It's poisoned. I'm not going to eat it because it's going to poison me. Now, I'm being a bit dramatic there. Obviously, food is not going to poison you in the short term, but it'll damn sure poison you in the long term. But see, when I'm thinking about things and when I'm thinking about what I put in my body and how I do all this stuff, like I said, that's the priority. How do I keep this machine as healthy and running as long as possible? And not just running as long as possible, not having health care, but also not having aches and pains that I have to just deal with because I don't have health insurance. You know, making myself feel as absolutely good as possible all the time. Now, there are a lot of reasons for exercise. So many of them, and I think about this. I just turned 57 a couple of days ago, so I really think about age around birthday time. Yeah, I'm older than fuck. That's why, you know, once you get to a certain age, or maybe that's just me too, like if somebody calls you old or says you look old, you're just like, yeah, I hope I wouldn't mind looking a little older, or I wouldn't mind the hair going gray to match the beard. But yeah, so everything, a lot of the stuff I focus on is very age related, and it's like thinking ahead. Now, a lot of you that watch me are not as old as me, but you might want to get out ahead of that and start thinking about you know, about those decades in the future now, while you can do something about it, while you can reverse some of the damage. It's a lot easier to reverse the damage and turn the ship around when you're younger, although it's never too late because I was 48. But yeah, so now I look at workouts like, okay, how, kind of like you would keep your, you know, just maintain your car. How do I keep this thing running the best? Bone health. That's why I like to do weight bearing exercises. I do my TRX, or I do body weight exercises for the bone health, you know, to have my bones strong as I age, because that's, you know, old people, you break a hip or you have problems with broken bones. We just get more brittle as we age, especially when we're not, you know, when we're not doing any workouts. And there's a lot of old people that just, you know, and I can see getting into that mindset. I'm a walker, but they're just like, oh, I'll just walk a little bit, play a little tennis. If you're getting older, do a little bit of weight bearing exercise. Your bones will definitely thank you on that. And it's nice just to have, you know, some decent strength. I'm no strong man by any means, but you know, I'm pretty weight proportionate for my age, for what I need to do. But anyhow, yeah, that's why I do those. One thing that I have really dropped the ball on, and I was talking to a yoga teacher about this the other day, is yoga. Oh, let me get back to the weight bearing and like lifting weights and anything to do with muscle building or just muscle maintaining or whatever. Something else, and I think I talked about this recently, is one of the main reasons as people get older and they have to either get home care or they have to go into nursing homes or they have to get help or whatever, is lack of muscle. Like so many people, and this sounds weird and you're gonna probably think I'm joking around, but so many people, because they can't get off the toilet anymore, those muscles, especially the legs and the glute muscles and all those muscles, they've not worked them, and they've deteriorated to the point where they can't even, you know, once you get older, obviously in your later 70s, 80s, depending, and they just don't have any strength, any muscle tone to do things like that anymore. The yoga. That is something that I've been going on, and I have a very hard time motivating myself here, because I mean, I've been here in this location by myself now for 3 years. Hardly any conversation, hardly any interaction with people. It makes you a little cray-cray. And I'm not very good about just like practicing yoga myself. I need to get back to Costa Rica so I can get back to with some of my yoga teachers. I need a teacher. But point being, flexibility, just the circulation. I think yoga, stretching, breathing, even if you're not doing set yoga, but breathing while you're stretching. I think all of this is wonderful for, you know, keeping our flexibility, helping our circulation, balance. Another reason why people have so many problems as they age, because they don't have good balance. They tend to fall. Cardio. We could all use a bit of cardio, or even just walking. Now, walking is a big part of my exercise. But it's just kind of like the fun part. In addition to, you know, doing the TRX or anything else I might do, I just enjoy going. I go out every day and walk a little bit, you know. And a lot of times I'll do it. It's not like I go for one long walk during the day at one time during the day, but I'll, you know, walk a little bit. Maybe I'll walk 1,500, 2,000 steps, get some work done, do whatever I'm doing, walk a little bit later, always walking. But yeah, definitely do not neglect the exercise. And if you happen to be one of those people like me out there that you don't necessarily need to exercise to maintain or lose your weight, don't fall into that same trap. I got into that, I'd say maybe a year and a half, 2 years, year to 2 years after I went raw. I did very little exercise. I did the least amount of exercise that I've probably ever done in my life. But I was in Costa Rica, so I was doing a lot of walking. Finally, I figured out, and I did. I was looking at a video recently from. I was still living in that house in Costa Rica. The house at the beach in Costa Rica. So that's been 6, 7 years, 5 years. Like some of the videos have been 5, 6, 7 years ago. And I was looking at one video from one of the early days in there when I was at very much lower weight, and I was just like, I'm not Mr. Buff right now. I mean, Jesus, I'm 57, but I was like this. I was just soft. I was soft everywhere. I mean, just kind of doughy. What do they call that? Skinny fat. But anyhow, just my 2 thoughts on this. And you know, listen, keep that food journal. I was just about to say something about just check yourself when you say, well, I'm doing this, this, and this, but I can't lose weight. If you can't lose weight, you have to write it down in a food journal. That way you can figure out what's going on. If you're not having a problem, you don't necessarily have to keep one. I don't. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you either Sunday or Monday. Y'all have a great weekend. Peace.